Alright, I am too good at my job and got promoted. So I'm in the middle of a move, but I made the mistake of making an appearance, and now everyone's asking me when the next video is coming out. There's an good chance I don't even play Season 10, guys, and the odds of me actually making content for that are even lower. You'll get some videos from Wapinator, because it takes me 15 minutes to edit them, but that's probably the extent of things right now. I will go over the patch notes, though, and my co-counsel behind me is going to give me her thoughts on all the classes as well. She's gone over the patch notes extensively, and she has hard opinions on things. So, general stuff, allocated loot. So, I mean, everyone who had played a modern game should know what allocated loot is. The loot is only available to you. You can select that in the game, so that'll stop people from having to roll and snipe your items. Akara now selling the tokens of absolution is a neat change, though. I mean, the farmers are going to be upset about that one. Primeval souls, I think, also were increased 25%. That is also awesome. They were not that hard to find in the first place, but hey. Curse resistance being increased to 75%. I mean, it was pretty good as is. I mean, that is essentially curse immune at this point. But again, very cool stuff. I want to go down to the class changes because that's the important stuff. Mercenaries first, I guess. Everyone was really pissed off about the Act 1 Merc being reduced. It is still broken, guys. Everyone's known it's been doing double max damage for a while. This is fine. This is just a slight nerf to, like, the Green Goblin build. It is okay. Everyone repeat after me. It is okay. Act 3 Mercs. Again, everyone was like, the War Strike thing was not overpowered. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. They removed the dagger holding from the Act 3 Mercs, and that is gone too. Those are fine changes. I know I'm the dev apologist, but those are fine changes. They probably need to be more. Okay, slight nerf to Cold Arrow, slight nerf to Fire Arrow. Again, fine. Cold was a little overtuned. Multi-shot got a buff. It's been 8 seasons of me saying, do not change the multi-shot nerfs from, Season 3 or whatever. We don't want Season 2 Boazon back. I disagree with this one. I do not think multi-shot needed any kind of buff whatsoever, but it is still just slight. However, they did make a change to Wind Force, which we'll get to later. So, I mean, maybe multi-shot. I haven't even tested this one yet, so I won't, comment on it and say it's wrong, but I'd like to get a build with Wind Force together and standard gear and see how it works. I think that what this might do is just more of that mid-tier power would increase. I mean, Boazons were still pretty good when you have them completely decked out. That's why people are still playing them. The Charge Strike. So Charge Strike's interesting. They took off one of the synergies. Yeah, Lightning Fury removed as a synergy. So it's only 60 skill points to max it out, which is a good change. I think that's actually there to help people who are trying to run the Summons on Pokes on build, right? Because you just didn't have enough points to get Decoy, Valkyrie, and all your own skills up. So that's actually not really like a Charge Strike change so much, I think, as a Summons on Charge Strike change. Strafe got a buff too. Again, nice little buff to Summons on there. Not sure it needed it. Again, Summons on has Strafe, has its own place as it is. But hey, that's certainly going to help a little bit. Okay, the Assassins, where they did a decent bit of work here. Standard changes, blah, 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 a couple percentage here, a couple percentage there. The big ones. Fade got a pretty big nerf. Fade, again, they're taking things, every time I look at something, it's like, yeah, was Fade overpowered? Yes, it was. The physical damage reduced 1% every 2 levels to 1% every 3 levels. So I think when I was checking it out, you get 16, 17% with the plus to skills. Now it's like 9. Again, probably a decent, necessary change. Fade. There was never a point, I know there were people who used Burst of Speed before, but they were wrong. There was never a point where I was building an Assassin and I said, oh man, and I really want to use Burst of Speed here. It was always Fade. I was always picking Fade. Now, okay, you might have a reason to pick Burst of Speed. And I did pick Burst of Speed when I was testing out the new Cold Assassin. Mind Blast got a decent buff here. I have to test that and see if that actually does anything. Mind Blast is still the, what did I always say, the best power to performance MFing character for Magic Find. This might make it actually a little more fun to play. Might just increase the clear speed to a point where it's a little more viable. Fist of Fire supposedly now works. There was some damage bugging going on, and it does appear to work. At least I tested it for like 15 minutes, so don't take my word for it. What I spent more time on was the Blades of Ice. Okay, they say Charge 2 and Charge 3 have been completely reworked. What it does is it now launches a little bale snowplow on the second charge, and the third charge is the animation from, I believe, Phoenix Strike, where it shoots out ice bolts in a big area of effect, and they spin everywhere. It's pretty cool. I like it. The problem I have with the build right now is it's going to be very difficult to balance. It's one of those kind of like Poison Strike, where you're hurting for every stat in the book. If you sacrifice on your PDR to get your skills up, you risk being one-shot because you don't have a whole lot of leech. You need a lot of life per kill and things like that. Your physical just isn't enough to actually sustain you. And then if you put on the PDR gear, you're hurting for the damage and the AR, and the only thing that you're not hurting for on this is basically life. Very low strength and dex requirements for your gear, so it's pretty easy to get your life up to 2500, but yeah, it does. I just don't know how to balance it. I was excited to play it, and I think I am not going to, especially when Claws of Thunder looks pretty good too. I saw Dread Switch, he had his channel, he has a couple hour video on the Claws of Thunder rework, and it drops little lightning bolts on people, like Thunderstorm from Sorceress. So, again, cool stuff. Barb. I am leaning towards playing Barb, and I can't believe I'm saying that. New Berserk is awesome. It's absolutely awesome. That's all I'll say about it. I don't want to tip my hand or have it changed. It's pretty good. I've checked out Concentrate. Again, Concentrate is pretty good too. I have not tested Frenzy yet, but you see everyone got buffs across the board, and I do agree with these buffs. Again, I hate to be a dev apologist, but I even said last season, wow, looking at all the changes, Barb is the one that actually needs some reworks, and they just gave them essentially everything across the board. Whirlwind, New Whirlwind is good too. Tested that with Blade Dance and on Barb. It just feels better. The clear consistency is better with them having the target prioritization. So you just don't have those random enemies behind you anymore when you don't have enough power to one-shot. I know that's what you want to get to with a Whirlwind character, but I mean, Whirlwind Sin is just even better than it was before. I assume that priority targeting is on Blade Dance as well. It would make no sense if it wasn't, because it's the same skill, just renamed. Druid. People are asking me about the Druid changes. Alright. Big one was Fury and Werewolf. Yes, they got nerfed slightly. Necessary. Sorry, again, dev apologist here. The Fury Druid was too good at everything, right? It was too good of a mapper. It could get MF built in. It could have a source of amp on the weapon because of the giant maul that everyone uses. It was one of the best bossers for both Rathma and Declone. It needed a nerf. It's when you're good at everything, you need to be bad at something. And the only way to really nerf that down was to lower the damage on it. I have not tested these yet. I only had about an hour yesterday to actually get something done. But I've seen everyone giving good feedback on changes for Summon Druid. And considering it was always sort of ranked as like, no matter what tier list you looked at, it was always kind of like a C tier build. It was always the baby brother to Summon Necro. Probably good changes, right? I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I get that it was broken for declone fights. I don't care. That is annoying. That you can now have your Oak Sage and everything else get hit and damaged. Nothing more to say about that, really. I even saw someone complaining about it in the Discord, and I think Senpai clapped back at them or something like that, but I don't get it. I don't get it, don't want it, don't like it. Bone Spear might get a little more use here with the hitbox being increased. I mean, yeah, it was either teeth, and no one had a reason to use Bone Spear, which doesn't make sense because it should have a niche place here. I didn't see this. Blood Golems. Oh, bleed may stack on a single target with open wounds. Interesting. So that's really what helped the bossers, and that's why 15 down to 12%. Okay, so that's not really a nerf so much as a balance. And Bone Armor. Huh. Okay, so slight nerf still like the Poison Strike build, because that's not a person who's really going to use Bone Armor, but okay, that's fine. And again, that really doesn't matter for, say, my version of Poison Strike. That matters, I guess, more for people who are using the Bone Flame version. Smite got a buff. I didn't even look at the Paladin changes yet. Crushing Blow efficiency per level. Interesting. Okay, so Smite's there. I mean, they don't generally like Smite. Decent buff to Zeal. Oh, yeah, I didn't look at these. Yeah, the Holy Sword changes. Okay. So basically, Paladin just got slight buffs across the board here. It's not anything crazy. It's just, you notice the classes people are not playing. It was the Paladin and Barb. And why? Because if you're going to play a physical character, Fury Druid was there. So, you see the point of these changes. Like, every time you guys see a nerf or a buff, don't overreact. Look at the whole document, right? Oh, they hate Druid. Druid got nerfed. Well, what was the problem? Because there's other physical classes that fill the role of the Druid, and they were not being used, so they buff those. And they do this every time. I'm still amazed people are shocked and offended when their favorite class gets nerfed. What is your favorite class got nerfed? How do you feel about that?
I don't know anything about your game, and I don't give a fuck about what you're doing right now because we need to pack.
She is a liar. She is a big Sorceress player, and she's just not very good.
On a different game.
She's really good at Sorceress. Everyone was expecting things to happen for Sorceress, and look how slight this is. Yeah, Teleport got a slight nerf to it. Blizzard got a slight buff. The Energy Shield rework is kind of cool. Your Energy Shield will just stay on even if you hit 0 mana. It's a more quality of life thing, I guess. But, well, no, I mean, it doesn't do much. You just don't have to reapply it, I guess, and you can chug a mana pot. So Sorceress is still her, right? The corruption changes. Holy shit. Okay, so you're going to see more sockets. That's... just read through that. You have a better chance of getting higher socket items, which is awesome. So, you can either roll them yourselves, but what it's really going to do is the prices are going to drop. You're not going to be seeing people selling that 6-socket, whatever the name is, Unique Thunder Maul for 40 high runes. Probably going to drop to 12, because there's going to be 3 or 4 or 5 of them up at any given time. So, I'm absolutely on board with that change. That's, again, sort of a reason why I'm not too worried about all the nerfs that came previously, because there are buffs in other areas, right? Weapon. Oh, the corruption changes too, right? So you also have, added corruptions, like, okay, so weapons can now get a little more physical pierce on them as a corruption. The rings are, variants. Again, small things, 2 to 3%. It always sucked when you got the 2% physical damage reduction. It's like, why? And they just gave it a flat 3. Again, good. But they buffed all the corruptions basically across the board. You can see this here and read through this yourselves. Right? Cool stuff. Cool stuff. The new uniques, okay, don't like all of them. Don't really have places. The Hyperion, I do like. I tested that out on Whirlwind Assassin, actually. Still not as good as having 2 claws, but the Cloak of Shadows was nice. It gives you a reason to actually use a shield on a couple characters that really just want to pump damage. It's cool. Very cool. Okay. The Ebon Bane. I know everyone's going to want my opinion on that one. People kept asking for it to be 5 to Amazon skills. No, guys, because then it would be used for Cold and Fire Arrow. That is a summons on a bow. That's it. And the only problem I have with it is the level 63 requirement on it. I'm just struggling to figure out when I would want to use this, and the weaken when struck, it's a little weird. What I would do with it, 3 to 5 skills is fine. I would make it 4 to 5 consistently, and put FCR on it, and make it a true summons on bow. And then it's really kind of a mid-tier starter bow, I guess, like that, right? It needs FCR, and then it could really be used for summons on, I think. Other than that, I don't see the point of it. Shatterblade, that is for, I believe, the new Assassin. That's what I was testing with the new Assassin on, with the cold reworks. Again, it works. It's just, granted, I rolled, what, a low one just for testing purposes. I mean, it could be much better. Zeal Sorks could use that. It's a neat item, but it's not like game breaking or changing. Dragon Scale got reworked. Yes, this was the most useless shield in the game. It now has that 20% or 15 to 25% physical damage reduction, and the fire skill damage is still there. Yeah, that might get some use now. Obviously just for straight fire paladins, but hey. Guardian Angel, this was a sneaky change. 1 to paladin skills is up to 1 to all skills. I was literally looking at that the hour before the stream came out, thinking, wow, that would be a great armor if it was 1 to all skills. That's the one with all the max resistances on it. So that is going to be a go-to easy armor for a lot of the bossers. That is a wonderful change. Kick-ass. There was one other thing stuck out. Oh, Crowcaw, because Wapinator and I love this armor. That one got a little bit of buff to everything there. The IAS, the dexterity, got a bigger variance, but the pierce is now consistent. So that's a sneaky good armor, guys. That's a sneaky good armor. Get 3 sockets on that bitch, and it rolls. Ormus nerfed into the ground. Good. Fuck Ormus. All my homies hate Ormus. Fuck sorceresses. There's your nerf. You didn't get nerfed to skills. You got nerfed to your best armor. Get bent. Quit complaining about it. You're overpowered. Necros got weird buffs with their items. Yeah, Dark Force Spawn. And what is it? Bone Flame, too. Yeah, got better run walk on it. Vamp Gaze up to 20-25 physical damage reduction. Vamp Gaze is back, boys. It's going to make it really difficult for me to pick Crown of Ages. When there's 25, I mean, with a corruption, with sockets. I mean, you could get, what, 2 burrs on a 2-socket corrupted Vamp Gaze with PDR? What would that be, like 50%? I mean, it'd be crazy. I think that's kick-ass. It is overpowered now, but it has to be when the other items are existing. And Dariel's got 30% IAS on it. Boazons, eat your heart out. Nightwing's got its variance reduced. Still not enough. And Crown of Ages can no longer roll 1 socket. It'll always be 2 to 3. So good buffs to all helms all around. I agree with all of those. Those are great. Rest of these you don't. I mean, you can run through them, but slight things here. Oh, Gore Rider's up to 20% deadly strike, or up to. It's a decent change there as well. Cat's Eye got 30% because Cat's Eye never gets used. Again, making it just a much more attractive option for people who need that IAS, and I will probably be looking at it because a lot of the builds I was looking at need IAS somewhere and just can't fit it in. Windforce got a decent buff too. That's probably to make it on par so people are not having to craft to get those crazy bows, and a Windforce might be a decent option. The new rune words. I don't know where Rapture's going to fit. I was trying to figure out how that would fit onto, obviously, a proc druid, but with the only 20% increased attack speed, it's kind of rough. It's a great weapon. Obviously, it's big damage, 40% deadly strike. Yes, it does that. Someone figure out where this goes. Like, there's obviously some build, and I just can't figure out exactly what it should be right now, but I'm sure someone will eventually. That's a leveling weapon. And I can't remember. Oh, Death's Hand got put into the ground, so that's no longer your go-to for Rathma. 45%, it probably still will be your go-to, but the point is those were actually selling for like an ohm with a good corruption, and I think they just didn't want people doing that, so those are obviously junked. And what was the other one? It was on my favorite set. Dark Adherent has a chance to cast Bone Armor. So, Wapinator, you want that Bone Armor proc build that you were doing? We can try that out with the Dark Adherent set. My favorite set in the game. It is the best, but it's a slight change. But hey, if you got that Bone Armor proc, maybe this will work. Maybe this is the armor to get it moving. I'm not sure why they added it to Dark Adherent. I feel like I'm seen. Like, they took Wapinator's Bone Proc build and then added We were looking for an armor that procced bone armor a little bit more consistently, and then they added it to my favorite set in the game. So you know what? We will be testing that. I'm not sure if that was targeted at me, but it feels like it was, and that has got my name all over it. That's it. Those are the whole things. Those are my very quick thoughts on it. Like I said, don't freak out about... Bitch.
Sorry. It's involuntary. It's been 20 minutes.
It's a whole patch note. This is what the people want.
Sorry.
Twat. Just ruined the whole fucking video. Alright, that's how the video ends. Fuck my wife. Fucking bitch. Don't freak out about the changes. There's all buffs everywhere else. Like I said, when you have Fury's gone, yes, but they added better chance to get sockets. There will be more items for you to buy. It's okay. Check out the barbs, guys. Those are going to be the sneaky good ones. Those are pretty big additions and buffs to them. See you probably season 11.